and she became impregnated, and she had an abortion, and the Catholic Church cracked in immediately to excommunicate both the abortion doctor and the little girl. None of the discussion happened with the rapist.
Right.
It's not like he was excommunicated too. It's really funny because I think when it comes to a lot of these kind of groups that basically play morality cop, is that deep down, they generally will prosecute the fake crime over the real one almost any time.
Right.
It's the same thing with the Catholic Church saying that we're going to pull all of our support from these sorts of programs that we have for poor people for health care in Washington, D.C., simply because we don't like that the D.C. Council is accepting same-sex marriage.
Right.
Again, choosing the fake crime over that, and it's like the same thing with this case of this little girl, is a number of American Catholic priests spoke out against it and were immediately shouted down by the Vatican, who just simply reasserted what Brazil said.
Right.
I mean, this is just insane.
Well, I can see we've got the number back up here again, and if what we're saying is so inflammatory to you that you just can't stand it anymore, that you need to shut us down, the number's on the screen. It's 206-421-5658. Apparently we have a phone call, is that right? No, we do. Yes, we do.
We do.
Whoa.
Wow.
So should we stop the news for a little while?
Let's talk to this person on the phone.
So who do we got on the line here? Oh, well, we got to keep going a little bit till we get them. So I think the third one is, let's do your last one. Let's do Mike Adams. Let's talk about Mike Adams.
This might be a lengthy one. Mike Adams, I don't know if you know, he's actually he's a criminology professor at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Something you need to know about Mike Adams is that, one, he's a blowhard and a bit of a douchebag. He wrote this article on Town Hall. I don't know if you're familiar with Town Hall.
Which is not the Town Hall Seattle Town Hall.
Not Town Hall Seattle.
Yeah.
This is basically a right-wing religious website that they also have a magazine. And just imagine, it's like WorldNet Daily in print. And if WorldNet Daily is sort of this collection of just the stupidest, most reactionary people into one place. And this is stupid even by the internet standards. I mean, this is bad. So anyways, he wrote an article.
That's pretty stupid.
That is incredibly stupid. But I would say that this is a deeper degree of stupid. Sort of, there's concentric circles. This is an inner ring of stupidity. Anyways, he wrote this article on townhall.com.
Right.
And this is a response to the recent Supreme Court decision, basically saying that if you're a student group at a public university, that you can't both discriminate and accept public funds, use of their facilities, use of just about everything. I mean, being a student group on a college, you get a lot of free stuff. Right.
You basically can't institutionalize discrimination if you're accepting public money or support from public facilities.
I mean, if you want to be a group that discriminates, the best thing for you to do is just to be private. You can do it on your own dime, and there's plenty of groups that like to make you a martyr and would gladly pay for you to bring so-and-so to speak. Right. You just can't do it on the college. Right. Anyways, this guy wrote an article in response to that, because this is basically the Christian Legal Society, which was a right-wing Christian group at, I believe it was UCLA? It was in California, I remember that. Anyways, the Christian Legal Society actually had something written in their bylaws saying that you have to be a Christian, you can't be gay, etc., if you want to be a member of this group. That got thrown down by the Supreme Court, and this guy Mike Adams has written this tirade, which at times lapses into Dr. Doom-esque purple prose, and it begins with the phrase, "I can't stand atheists, and I plan to do something about them." Which,
wow.
Yeah.
Running for the hills.
Anyways, he says, "I plan to round up the students I know who are most hostile to atheism. Then I'm going to get them to find these atheist haters willing to join atheist student groups. I plan to use my fundamentalist Christian warriors to undermine the mission of every group that disagrees with me on the existence of God." And he says, if they don't like it, they can go to hell. That's where they're going to go eventually anyway. I do not seek robust debate. I seek power over the godless heathen dissident.
Wow.
Kneel before Zod, son of Jor-El. Then we will seek to destroy these groups whose names are even remotely suspicious. If I see the words like atheist, agnostic, or even freethinker, I know that they are a group of godless heathens. Then we'll move in for the kill.
Right.
And after we get rid of these heathens, we'll turn our weapons on the gays, the blacks, and the feminists. I think that's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but I think it's what what's his name? Al Franken once referred to as kidding on the square. Kidding on the square is a favorite move of Glenn Beck and others, where you say something and then say, "I'm just kidding," but not really.
Right.
So, yeah, Mark, and this guy's a college professor.
No, well, I think you would never see even the most vitriolic of the atheist apologists like Hitchens or Dawkins. You would never have them using the language of "we'll move in for the kill" or "we'll turn our weapons."
I see power over?
Yeah, well, maybe Hitchens talks. When he says about being an atheist. But still, I'm never going to say that I should kill someone because their beliefs are opposed to mine. That to me is just as insane as a Taliban is.
Well, he's openly saying, "I don't want free speech."
Right. So we should. I think we've got this out here. We should just take this phone call now if she's still on the line. It's Kate from Seattle. Do we have you, Kate?
Kate, are you still there?
Hello.
Hello.
We kept her waiting a long time. Hey, Kate, are you there? Kate from Seattle? I guess not. I guess we don't have her.
Yes, we don't have her.
Well, let's keep moving
please
on.
call back, Kate. Let's see if we can get the phone number up on the screen again. It's 206-421-5658. We'd be happy to hear from you again, Kate.
Did you memorize that number?
I did. I did.
Okay. Okay. I guess we might have Kate again. Kate, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Kate, how's it going?
Oh, very well. How about yourself?
We're
doing pretty good.
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Well, I have a YouTube channel dedicated to atheism called Bionic Dance.
Yes.
You're this Kate.
Yes.
How's it going?
Thank you for the pitch, by the way, helping us out with Boost.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I've been having a kind of ongoing argument on my channel with other atheists about the definition of reality versus the definition of magic, whether it's religious god magic or your basic Dungeons and Dragons style.
Natural 20.
Where you actually need to have a saving throw in response to it?
Well, basically. Well, the thing is that many of them contend that if something exists at all, we have to consider it scientific, that it's not magic. Basically, by their definition, magic can only be imaginary. But it's my contention that, with the possible exception of, say, quantum physics, which is pretty mysterious, the scientific world appears to be rational, where effect not only follows from cause, but is also related to the cause.
Right.
I would define magic as anything where effect follows from cause, but is not related to it. For example, like if I wave my hand through the air, science says I'll expend probably a fraction of a calorie and displace some air.
Right.
But if I were to wave my hand and poof, we get a chicken, and we were able to show that the chicken did not appear by any means other than my finger waving, I would define that as magic, because it's irrational rather than rational, because it makes no sense it happens anyway.
Right. As Hitchens would say, it's a suspension of the natural order. It is not a consequence of things that are happening that we just don't understand. The funny thing about magic is that magic can be... this is a great little anecdote. I was actually back home in Oregon, and I have two young nephews, and on Christmas morning we were going to dinner, and this will betray my hillbilly lineage, which is we went to a truck stop that we go to every Christmas dinner. And it's not because we enjoy hanging out with the truckers with the hats and everything. It's actually because it's the only restaurant that's open on that side of town. And there was a guy there who was part of the Truck Stop Ministries. Have you seen these guys? You probably haven't.
They were on Religious.
Right, they were
in Bill Maher's movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they were totally there. So he had he had a collar and he had a name tag on and he had a shirt that said Truck Stop Ministries. And I can tell he used this on kids before, so he did this funny magic trick with a rubber band in his hand, and I think I was able to actually figure out how he did it at the end. And then he basically said, he prefaced everything that he said by saying, "Oh, no, this is magic, this wasn't real." And then I pulled him aside and I'm like, "That was great, I think you know what you're doing here." And I said, "But with you saying magic is not real, is like saying professional wrestling isn't real," which is the perfect ontological description for magic, is that it is real. It's the people who are... Penn Jillette does magic. Magic is real. Now, the thing that you're supposed to be tricked into thinking that's actually happening, what's happening is not real. But magic itself is real. It's completely and totally real.
Well, as Job from Arrested Development says, illusions, Michael. Not tricks. But it is trickery. I mean, that's essentially what Penn Jillette and Teller do is trickery.
Right.
Well, yes, and that is a real problem with the definition of magic, is some people will define magic as trickery, while others, insist that we're talking more about sorcery here, about the suspension of reality. Now, I'm not saying I think that you can suspend science. I think science is all there is. But, I'm open to the idea, if someone can show me, really show me that magic exists, in terms of sorcerous magic, I'd be open-minded.